Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. It's gonna be an exciting video for me because I did not realize how many new releases that are coming out in 2023 that I'm very excited for. And oh good grief, this is gonna be a long video, I feel like. So
sleigh bells ringing, diamonds blinging, carols singing.
So I'm one of those people that I don't really like doing like the quarterly releases, just because I just like putting it all into one video and getting it all out there. So this might be a long one, but I'm going to try and narrow it down to the ones that I'm most excited for, and I'm not going to explain all of them into like long detail. Just gonna give you like a really brief overview of what to expect when going into these books. And if you guys do want me to do like a quarterly thing where, you know, I do in January all of the books that are going to be coming out through April, and then I can keep going on and on throughout the rest of the year and give you more in-depth of what the books are going to be about, I can do that. But I just thought I would give you guys some idea of what's to expect for next year if you don't know what's coming out, and just help you find new books again. Like, you need them, but I'm here to help. So these aren't in any category order. I tried doing that, but honestly I kept getting frustrated myself because I couldn't figure out the kind of order I wanted to put them in, and I'd already made a list. So they're not in order of date or genre or anything like that, but I will let you know what kind of genre to expect. So the first one that I am highly anticipating is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is a romance novel. The cover alone just is like, yo, come on. So Sarah Adams also wrote The Cheat Sheet and When in Rome, which I've heard nothing but good things about. And this one is basically this flower shop owner in Kentucky makes a deal with a bad boy and it turns into a love story. Love it. It is a friends to lovers, which I also have found out that I am head over heels in love with. So I'm very excited to get into this one. So basically Annie is a flower shop owner and she's gone on dates before, but nothing ever works out because people just think she's too boring. And she hears like this guy that she was seeing say that he was bored with the date, and she's just like, oh, okay. So then she reaches out to Will, who is the little tattooed bad boy on the cover, and she wants him to give her lessons in how to be less boring when dating. And we can pretty much predict how it's going to turn out from there, but I just need this book. And this one's supposed to come out May 2nd of next year. The next book, I don't think it's going to come as a shock to anybody, but it's Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun by Elle Cosimano. This is the third book in the Finlay Donovan series. I read the first two this year, absolutely love them, and I'm glad that I got to binge read them, so I'm ready for the next one to come out. And it's just that anticipation that's building up to read this book. And I'm really glad because this one also comes out January 31st, so I don't have to wait too long into the new year to pick it up. So in the last book, we got more into depth of Finlay's love life and the kind of men she was seeing, but she also ran into the Russian mob a little bit, and so she now owes them for a few things. And I just feel like this book is going to be a lot of her trying to keep her relationship with this cop and lawyer very under wraps while she tries to deal with her situation with the Russian mob, because, you know, neither one of them are going to help her much if she gets into trouble this bad. And, you know, she's gotten into trouble before where they've had to save her, and they did a really good job. You know, kudos to you guys, but Finlay needs to chill out with the whole getting herself into sticky situations on accident. I feel like this one is going to be on a lot of people's radar, but it's The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. It is I think it's a sequel. It's kind of a sequel duology to the Cruel Prince series, so you're following a different character that was in the world of the Cruel Prince books. This one is supposed to be released on the 3rd of January of next year, and I will be waiting outside of a local Barnes & Noble to get it. So this one's going to follow Prince Oak, who was in the series before, and we're going to follow him through his journey. It's 6 years or so later after everything that's happened in, I'm guessing, The Queen of Nothing, which was the last book, right? Yeah, I had to look there for a second. But we're going to follow him in his journey. I don't really know much about it. I really like going into these books blind because they just are so much you don't know what to expect. The twist that Holly Black has thrown in that series of The Cruel Prince alone was enough to not make me trust another single author for the rest of my life. So I will be, like I said, posted outside of Barnes & Noble that morning. The next book is Happy Place by Emily Henry, which is supposed to come out on April 25th. So we have to wait a little bit for this one, which is going to be hard. But I have yet to read Book Lovers by her, so I'm feeling like I can fit that in between January and April. And then I'll be exactly ready for Happy Place to come out and just pick it up and read it, you know? So this one is about two people, Harriet and Lynn. They used to be a couple and then they broke up, but they still want to go on this week-long vacation with their best friends, so they don't want to tell their best friends that they're broken up, so they're just going to pretend to be a couple for that week and just go along with it. And yeah, I can just already tell that the banter in this book is going to be phenomenal. Emily Henry never disappoints with her banter, and just the fact of two people who possibly hate each other and, you know, used to love each other are going to try and get back that connection or pretend to have that connection back is reminding me a little bit of Sweet Home Alabama, the movie, and that's like one of my favorite movies ever. So again, you'll catch me posted up outside of Barnes & Noble that day. The next book is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, which is probably going to be in the horror section. This book is supposed to come out on January 17th, and basically it's about these two siblings who, you know, lived in this haunted house, and now that they're older, their parents are dead and they need to sell this house and get it on the market, but I'm assuming it's going to be very difficult to sell a haunted house. That's just my personal opinion, but I think I've only read one book by Grady Hendrix, but I really enjoyed the humor and the horror mixed in together. It was a very, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a relaxing horror novel, and it confused me a lot, but it made me feel really good. So I'm excited to see how this one turns out. This next book is Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson. It's not really a full sequel, but it says it's 1.5, so it's not the exact sequel of Sorcery of Thorns, but it's what happens right after Sorcery of Thorns is what I'm assuming, and then we'll hopefully get a sequel to that book from what I can tell. So this novella also comes out on January 17th, and oh, the excitement I have for this one, because I loved these characters in Sorcery of Thorns. I loved the world. It was just one of my favorite books ever. And I don't want to go into too much detail about what this one is about, just because it might give away a lot about Sorcery of Thorns, but I just know I'm going to get transported back to these characters and to see this world and just have a new story to follow. And Margaret Rogerson doesn't disappoint me, so this one's just going to be amazing. In some of these, I'm not going to go into detail about what they are about, just because I don't have enough time to do like a hour-long video with all the books that I have listed here. So I will mention them at the end and like tell you when they're coming out, just so you guys can get a glimpse and know that I am excited for these books to come out. I'm just trying to pick out my absolute favorite ones, or the ones that I'm highly anticipating. The next one is A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. This one comes out on March 28th, and I have never read a T. Kingfisher book, but I am wanting to read one, and my friend Olivia got an art copy of this book, and it looks really good. She let me read the back cover of it, and I was like, that kind of sounds right up my alley. So T. Kingfisher tends to write horror, so I'm assuming that's what this one is going to be as well. So from what I've heard, this one is a Southern Gothic horror novel, and it's about, you know, a perfect looking home is not always perfect, and I think it's going to go into the horrors of seeing that kind of thing, or understanding that there are things left to be buried in families and things like that. So it sounds right up my alley, and the cover alone is just, it's sold. It's sold. You sold me. The next one I'm excited for is Meet Me at the Lake by Carley Fortune. This one is supposed to come out on May 2nd. She is the author of Every Summer After, which I read this summer and I absolutely adored. I loved it. And there was even a trope that I don't really appreciate or like in most books, but the way it was done in this one was a lot different than most books, and I enjoyed it. So I'm very excited to go and see, or go and read basically what is going to happen in this novel, and see if I, you know, love it just as much as Every Summer After. The thing that I really like about Carley Fortune's books so far is that they are reconnecting loves, and I think it's like more of second chance love than anything else. You have people who have been friends for years, and it's just been, you know, right person, wrong time kind of thing, and I really enjoy that trope, but I'm very excited to see how she does this one and how much it differs from Every Summer After. So that one, you know, high up on my list. The next book is from Riley Sager. It's The Only One Left, and this one is supposed to come out on June 20th. Again, I've only read one of Riley Sager's books so far, and it was Home Before Dark. I could not remember for the life of me. And I really enjoyed this one, and that one was gothic, and this one is supposed to be gothic as well. So I'm kind of gravitating, you know, towards this one, and it's gonna be a horror thriller type thing. It's most of his books are thriller, but they have a little bit of horror mixed into them in some of them. So I'm very excited to see if that's the same case for this book. And this book is going to be following this girl who is a caretaker, and she's going to take care of a woman who had what they say is a Lizzie Borden type of massacre occur, and she was, you know, accused of it. So, you know, that would be so difficult to go and try and take care of somebody who has been, you know, assumed to have murdered her whole family, Lizzie Borden style. That's brutal. So I'm a little nervous about this one, but I'm here for it. I'm here for the concept. I know a lot of mine seem like they're horror novels, which a lot of them are, but a lot of them are kind of thrillers, but they have horror mixed into them as well, and that's kind of the case with this one. It's horror, but I think it has some thriller elements also, but when I saw the cover of this one and looked more into it, I was definitely sold on this. And this book is The Haunting of Alejandra by V. Castro. It's supposed to come out on April 18th, and can we just take a moment to appreciate the beautiful cover? All I know about this book is that it's following the tale of La Llorona, and I have watched, you know, a movie with La Llorona. I have looked up like YouTube videos and things, so I'm really interested to see how it's done with this book. You know, some people have butchered it with certain movies or certain other books, and I hate when people butcher like myths or legends or stories, anything like that you're trying to recreate. Don't recreate it if you're going to butcher it. So I'm having high hopes for this one, and I literally cannot wait. The next one that I'm very excited for is another book by Jennifer Saint, and it is Atalanta. It is mythology, Greek mythology inspired, and this one's supposed to come out on the 13th of April. I read Ariadne earlier this year, and I absolutely loved it. Jennifer Saint has a way of writing myths as they are supposed to be, with that lyrical artwork that you write with, or the lyrical whimsical kind of style, and she just wrote Ariadne to the point where I could not put it down. And I have been trying to get more into Greek mythology and more into mythology in general, and this book is definitely going to be adding onto that pile. The next one is the second book in the Sisters of the Salt series. The first one was House of Salt and Sorrows, and this one is House of Roots and Ruin. This one is by Aaron A. Craig, and it's supposed to release on July 23rd. You guys, I don't know if you know this, but House of Salt and Sorrows is one of my absolute favorite books, and I'm gonna reread it before this one comes out because I'm absolutely in love with it. The world, the gothic setting, and the ocean setting that you get around it is just amazing. It's like a gothic coastal novel, and the characters are just, I'm so drawn to them, and I didn't know if I was reading like an adult horror book at some points. You're getting like a thriller part, you have that mystery era, you have some romance mixed in, so I cannot be more excited for this book if I wanted to be. There's this dark fiction book coming out, and it's called How to Kill Men and Get Away with It. Is that not hilarious? It's by Katie Brent, and it's supposed to come out on April 11th of next year. I've heard that this one is a lot like Killing Eve, the TV show, if you like that show. And all I know is that there's this woman who, you know, she looks like put together and she's amazing, you know, she's stylish, she's got it all, but she's a serial killer. And we already know that I am a personal fan of the You series by Caroline Kepnes, where we're following a serial killer, and I know it's wrong, but I love that character so much, and I'm kind of into this character, so I'm gonna see how I feel, but we'll hold our horses, you know? And speaking of the You series by Caroline Kepnes, the 4th novel, For You and Only You, is going to be coming out this year, and I'm here for it. It's going to be coming out on April the 4th, and I just want to say a big thank you to NetGalley because I received an ARC of this book, or an e-ARC, and I'm definitely going to read this one before it comes out because I'm just obsessed with the character. Well, I won't say obsessed with the characters because there are a lot of characters that I hate in this series, but I am obsessed with the world that book has created, and I don't know how to explain it. I'm just so freaking excited. The next book that I'm very excited for is The Cherish by Patricia Ward. This one comes out on April 18th, and I think I'm drawn to this one because it reminds me a lot of Wilder Girls by Rory Power, which is also a YA book that I absolutely adored. This one is like a horror thriller that is happening during midsummer. Scary enough. And this girl just inherits this house, and she's left really dark instructions of what to do, I guess. So this book, the cover is gorgeous, and it, like I said, the type of writing style and what to expect in the world is what I expected in Wilder Girls, with that, you know, the body horror and the different like dystopian era. It's dystopian, but it's done a different way, which is really nice and refreshing. So I think that's why I'm like pulled to this one so much. Those are the ones that I'm like the most excited for, and now I'm just going to tell you guys some of the ones that look really good to me and that I are like on my radar and when they're coming out, but I'm not going to go into detail so that this video doesn't last for 3 hours. I'm really excited for the last tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. This one is supposed to be released on February 14th. Another one is Witch King by Martha Wells. This one is going to come out on the 30th of May. Then you have The Seven Faceless Saints by M.K. Lobb, and this one is going to come out on February 7th. You have Godkiller by Hannah Canner, and that one's supposed to be released on January 19th. You have The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores, and that one is going to be released on March 21st. Another one is The Writing Retreat. That one's by Julia Bartz, and it's supposed to be released on February 21st. And then you have Foxglove by Adeline Grace, which is the sequel to Belladonna, and that one is supposed to come out on August 22nd. Another one is What Have We Done by Alex Finlay, which is the author of The Night Shift, and this one is supposed to come out on March 7th. Another one that looks really cute and it's given off cottagecore vibes is Flower Heart by Catherine Bakewell. This one's supposed to come out on March 14th. And by the author of These Fleeting Shadows and Rules for Vanishing, which is Kate Alice Marshall, she is releasing a book, and it's called What Lies in the Woods, and it should be out on January 17th. And by the author Dale for Aunties, Jessie Q. Sutanto, I believe is how you say the name. She is coming out with another series, and the first one is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, and it should be out on March 14th. An author that I really loved was Katrina Ward, who wrote The Last House on Needless Street. She is coming out with another book as well, and it is called Looking Glass Sound, and that one's supposed to come out on August 8th. Another one is With My Little Eye by Jocelyn Jackson. That one is supposed to come out on April 25th. A horror book by Christopher Golden called All Hallows is coming out next year, and that one will be out on the 24th of January. And there's a really cute rom-com that is called My Roommate is a Vampire that is going to be coming out. It's by Jenna Levine, and it is coming out on August 15th. And of course, I'm really excited for Lore Olympus Volume 4 by Rachel Smith that will be coming out. And that one should be coming out on June 6th. There's this really cool new novel coming out called A Door in the Dark. And I want to look because I don't want to get his name wrong, but it's by Scott Rentigen, I think, or Reintgen, I don't know. Correct me if you know how to say it. That one will be out on March 28th. There is a horror novel coming out called The Spite House that looks really good. It's by Johnny Compton, and it'll be out on February 7th. Stone Blind is a mythology book by Natalie Haynes, and it will also be out on February 7th. You have Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Sambury. That will be out on February 28th. The Mothkeeper by Kay O'Neill will be out on March 7th. The Lake House by Sarah Beth Durst, I believe is how you say her name, will be out on April 25th. And Arch Conspirator by Veronica Roth, who is the author of the Divergent series, she's releasing that book next year, and it'll be out on February 21st. The House is on Fire is a book written by Rachel Beanland, and it will be out on April 4th. The Drowning Woman is also a horror novel It's written by Robin Harding, and it looks really, really good, and it will be released on June 13th. And the last one I have is Georgie All Along. It is written by Kate Claiborne, and that one will be out on the 24th of January. So I hope you guys probably already knew most of these books, but if you didn't, I hope I gave you some idea of some new ones coming out, and that you can add them to your TBR just like I am. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me again today, and I will see you guys in my next video.
He says, Saint Nick, but you gotta been that bad. I got racks in my sack or in my bag.